disability is something that can prevent somebody from doing simple tasks or even make a simple task more difficult.
If I went blind, I wouldn't be able to see the things I love and the people I love, which help me feel happy and make me feel like I belong. If I didn't have those things, I'd feel like I'd be lost. But that's just a thought. I can't imagine what someone who went blind or lives with blindness would feel like.
My name is Daniel, and today I'm doing a little course with Comhairle about how different disabilities can impact a person's life.
Yesterday we did an experiment where we all we're in a bus ride, a quote-unquote bus ride.
One of our workers were pretending to be like a bus driver, and we'd all be following him as if we were in a bus with him, and he'd keep making crashes where at one point someone would get a disability as a result.
Someone would have a blindfold on and would be blind then, or someone would have, it was like a rag around their mouth where we couldn't speak, someone would have their legs tied together, someone wouldn't have the use of their arms, so on and so forth. And it showed all the different ways that it would affect you as we walked along, and you'd gain more as you went, and it would make it more difficult to continue the journey, but yet you kept going and you had to adapt to make it easier on yourself to continue the journey.
It was hard to push it and steer it. It was hard because if you go forward, you could fall backwards.
It was really difficult and it was kind of scary because you didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, I had to use a ramp to get up the curb. I wanted to try get up the curb without the ramp, but it was too hard.
It's a constant fear that something could go wrong at any second.
I got to experience how blind people would walk around and how they would experience their environment.
I used the stick to feel my way around, through the ground, see if there were rocks or sticks or anything in my way.
It was challenging, definitely. I would take my sight for granted a lot of the time.
It was very difficult trying to navigate around, taking instructions from people, following them at a second's notice.
But I saw how difficult it was to just maneuver around without help for the day, and it was very eye-opening.
After 15 minutes it felt really different. Everything felt more sensitive. Just that I could hear everything more clearly when I had the blindfold on, and that I could feel everything better.
I was helping the people who were acting with disabilities. I was guiding the blind people around, and I was helping the deaf people and things.
I learned that you should help people, but ask them first, because some people don't want help.
You just need to make sure they want help, ask if they want help, and make sure you give them the help they want rather than just pulling them across the road.
It's not necessarily discrimination all the time, but also a case of people not knowing how to care for those people as well, and they do need help at some stage.
Before, I would be too afraid to see if they would need help if I saw them around, but now that I know what it's like, I needed help yesterday, so I wouldn't be too afraid to ask them for if they need help if I ever saw them around.
People with disabilities would be stronger because they would have had to deal with a lot of things, with a lot of difficulties other people haven't had to deal with in their life.
If I was disabled, I wouldn't really want to be treated I wouldn't want to be treated less than any other person that doesn't have a disability, because it's kind of unfair to a person with a disability, because maybe they're born with it, maybe it happened, but it wasn't their fault. So you can't really treat them less than a normal person, because they're still normal, they just have something different.
I wouldn't want to be seen as disabled. If I was disabled, I would want to be seen as like everybody else, because I might be missing a limb or blind or whatever, but I'm still a person.
It showed me how difficult it would be if I had actually just lost use of even one arm. I couldn't even imagine what it would be like without two arms.
I don't think so. I don't think I'd get used to it.
It'd make you feel lonely because you wouldn't be able to see where everyone else can see. And if something's happened, you can't see. If something is amazing, you miss all that opportunity. So it kind of makes you feel a bit isolated.
I think if I was missing a limb, I would miss dancing the most because it's a way for me to relax.
County Kildare did this project to make everyone aware of what it's like to be disabled or not able.
There's always too much emphasis on negatives than positives. It's time to shine light on hidden potential.
We all want a world that's fair, so let's make it fair.
It's time to realise that their ability is a lot stronger than their disability.
Let's focus on the ability and disability. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.